channel, another Warhammer 40,000 battle report. Today my Genestealer Cults will be taking on Doug's Drukhari and Ynnari force, and here's the battlefield for today's game, another one on the city fight board. And today we rolled up the Maelstrom of War mission Recon. That's where you get 3 Maelstrom cards per turn. You also have to split your army into 3 with a random section showing up on turn 1, and the rest will show up on the first or second turn based on how you roll. So this could be very useful for my Genestealer Cults. We discussed it and we think that the Genestealer Cult ambush ability will supersede the no reserves on turn 1 because of the way the scenario works, so we agreed that I would be able to deploy them using the cult ambush from turn 1 onwards as opposed to the new FAQ. We're just not too sure how it works with this scenario, so that's how we're going to play it today. As you can see, the battlefield, I've got my city fight board. We're also playing the terrain that if an infantry model is on any of the building bases, they will get the save. So that's how we're going to play it. And we're also going to use ITC terrain rules, where the lowest level of each rune counts as line of sight blocking. So for example, even though we have windows, you can see through. If any unit's there, then they are effectively blocked from line of sight. And here we have the Genestealer Cult's army for today's battle, and this consists of 2 battalion detachments and a vanguard detachment, which is the one with the 3 elite choices. So here is an overview of the entire army, and we'll go into it in just a bit more detail. First up, we have my 5 HQ choices. We have a Patriarch who's taking the mass hypnosis psychic power. We then have 2 Magus, one with mind control, the one in orange with mind control, and the one in blue with might from beyond. We also have 2 Primus to lead the forces into battle, one in the blue robes here, one in the orange robes. The one in the orange robes is going to be my Warlord, and he is going to take the Focus of Adoration Warlord trait. I normally make the Patriarch the Warlord, but he goes after the enemy pretty quickly and dies, so he's more likely to give up the Warlord kill, whereas the Primus, hopefully I can keep a little safer. For the troops, we have 6 troop choices. We have 4 units of Acolyte hybrids. We have a unit of 10 with 2 rock drills. We have a unit of 5 with 2 rock cutters, and a unit of 5 with 2 rock saws. We also have just a plain 5-man unit. We have 2 units of neophyte hybrids, one with a mining laser and a grenade launcher, and the other with a seismic cannon. For vehicles, we have 2 of the Scout Sentinels, one with a multi-laser and one with an autocannon. We have a Goliath truck with twin autocannon and a heavy stubber, and we have a Cult Layman Russ with a battle cannon, a las cannon, and 2 heavy bolter sponsons. To fill out the Vanguard detachment, we have 2 units of 15 pure strain Genestealers and a unit of 5 aberrants with the rock hammers. As you can see from the last game, a few new additions to the cult. In another 15 Genestealers were added, and a couple of the characters were painted up, the Magus and the Primus in blue. So hopefully this should give me a lot of good hitting power. Under the new FAQ reserve rules, only half my points can go into reserve. So for this game, that means I can put in the 2 big Genestealer units, the Patriarch, the 2 Primuses and one of the Magus, and the unit of 10 Acolyte hybrids with the rock drills. This comes to just about under 1,000 points, meaning that a lot of my Acolyte hybrid units will have to start on the board, along with the vehicles, the Sentinels and the truck. I'm planning to put, I think the Aberrants will probably go into the Goliath truck with one of the Magus, so you can get a bit closer to use Smite. I'm not sure which one. Mind Control would be useful, allowing me to get closer in the truck and use the short range. It's only 12-inch range, allows me to take over a model in the enemy unit, army, and fire with them. Or else I give them Might from Beyond, which would take the Aberrants up to strength 12. So it's going to be wounding just about everything on the 2, apart from vehicles, and give them an extra attack, which could be more useful seeing as I suffer the -1 to hit from having the rock hammers. So that's the Genestealer Cult army. We'll take a look at the other army in a minute. Here we have Doug's army, which is a Ynnari battalion and a Drukhari battalion. For the Ynnari, we have the Recon, Eldrad Ulthuan, and a Spiritseer. Was it? Yep. We have a unit of 20 Guardians, 2 units of 5 Rangers, and a big unit here of Shining Spears, which will be wonderful to play against. For the Drukhari, we have 2 Archons. We have 4 5-man units of Cable-like Warriors with 5 Venoms, is that? Yeah, 5 Venoms here. And we have the, is it Jet Fighter? Yeah.
Razorwing, yeah.
The Razorwing Jet Fighter, which is always fun to play against. So, not the, well, still a fairly strong Drukhari, Ynnari, but not super overpowered as to completely crush my Genestealer Cults in one turn.
No Dark Reapers and only 1 set of Shining Spears.
Yeah, so that would be good. In terms of Warlords, traits and psychics?
Incarn is the Warlord, because he, she, it has to be, with +1 attack. Eldred has Doom and Fortune, and the Spiritseer has Protect and Jinx.
Okay, so some good standard psychic powers. Just get a closer look at the army here. Well, I really like Doug's Drukhari, a nice sort of bone, brownish bone colour scheme. And here's the rest of the Ynnari filth in the Drukhari. So this should be, hopefully be an interesting game. We'll see how the Genestealer Cult, so this is my first game with the Genestealer Cult since the new big FAQ has, let's say, changed the army dynamic slightly, and that I can no longer cult ambush on turn 1. So we'll see how that's going to affect the game, and it's going to affect my tactics for this. Here we have deployment for the game. We've rolled up Spearhead Assault, which is like the arrows pointing towards the board from the short edges. We'll go over some of the objectives here. So in my deployment zone, I have objective 5 on this side, objective 6 on the far side, objective 3 is in the middle here, we have objective 2 towards the centre, objective 1 is just outside Doug's deployment zone, and we have objective 4 at the back of his deployment zone there. So in terms of deployment, we rolled up, we split our armies into 3 equal parts. I rolled up, and for my army I have a unit of Acolyte Hybrids hiding out in the ruins here to my left. I have another unit with the Rock Saws just hiding in this building here beside it. The Russ started on the board, so I put it behind this building. The Cult Sentinel is here on my right flank, along with a unit of Neophytes with the Mining Laser, the Grenade Launcher, and the Magus, who has, I believe he is the one with the psychic power that is take over an enemy unit and shoot, or at least that's the one I wanted to deploy in this section, in case he didn't get on the truck. In terms of Doug's deployment, he's didn't roll the best for his. He got one of the sections he didn't want to come in, so his fast units he wanted to keep in reserve, and no screening in case my cult ambush comes in. So we have the Shining Spears in the centre here, looking in at my lines. we have the flyer deployed at the back here, and we have the two psychers, Eldrad and the Spirit Seer, on his left flank here. So some good line of sight blocking to keep the Shining Spears safe. Doug did finish deploying first, so he will get the +1 to go first, which he really needs because, as he was saying, he wants to bring in his screening units to stop my cult ambush. You did spend a command point on the webway?
Yeah, to put the Guardians into webway. So with the mission rules, anything that comes in from reserve has to be against your board edge unless it has deep strike rules. So I need my Guardians to be able to come in to screen the Genestealers.
Yes. This mission kind of ignores a lot of the new FAQ and beta rules, and that I'm going to get to cult ambush a lot more of my stuff than I normally would be allowed to, because when my reserves come in, I am allowed to deploy them in the cult ambush, and I don't have to specify that before game, as far as I'm aware in this. So they're all in reserves, and equally Doug's reserves, if his Guardians come in on turn 1, he can equally deploy them anywhere that's allowed. So I think my Genestealer Cults definitely have the advantage in this mission, which is good because they're going to need every advantage they can get, I think. Well, it's not the toughest of Eldari armies, but Genestealer Cults are still struggling. So we'll roll off for first turn. Doug does get the +1 and gets a 4. Pretty good roll there. Let's see. I get a 3, so I do not get the first turn. Do I attempt to seize the initiative? I mean, I probably should, but it would be very mean if I did do it, so we'll see. No, that's a 4, so no seizing the initiative. Big sigh of relief from Doug there. So Doug will get the first turn. He'll have a chance to possibly bring in some of his reserves to set up a few screens and to do some damage to the Genestealer Cults. Before we start, I'll need to do the scout moves on my Cult Sentinel, but we'll come back to you with the objectives and the movement. Eldari turn 1, Doug drew Supremacy, hold 3 objectives, behind enemy lines, and mission critical objective. Not a terrible draw of cards. Supremacy should be maybe doable, depends what reserves come in. If his Guardians come in, then yeah, it's doable. Or the Rangers. Objective 5 is over here, just outside my deployment zone, so he may struggle to get that this turn. And behind enemy lines is potential.
A 72-inch movement flyer.
Flyers, yeah, flyers can get that. They can't hold objectives, but they can score objectives. So he's probably going to get behind enemy lines. He may get Supremacy, and he's most likely going to get First Blood. So that is quite a good showing, I think, for the Eldari turn 1. We'll come back with the movement phase and any reserves that come in on turn 1. Turn 1 movement phase for the Eldari. The flyer moved up here into my deployment zone beside my units. The Shining Spears spread out to grab a couple of objectives here. Doug rolled for his reserves and everything but 1 Venom came in, which was very good for him. Unit of Rangers decided to go in the centre here, or hold this objective. Another unit of Rangers screening out his front. The Guardians came in and got to deploy along a screening line here, and the 3 Venoms came in and served to block off some of the back deployment zone, as well as the Ynnari came in. So good first turn so far for Doug. Basically all his reserves came in, allows him to set up some screens to block off the Genestealer Cult units, which is very important for him. We'll now go on to the psychic phase and the shooting phase to see if he can earn a kill for first blood. So he's going to get behind enemy lines, and he is going to get supremacy, but he can't get mission critical because I have a unit in the ruins here that stopped him getting into range of the objective with anything but the flyer. So he's not going to get mission critical now. Potentially could get it in a future turn if he holds on to it. So we'll go on to the psychic phase and see what can be done for the Eldari or the Ynnari force.
So Spirit Seer is a build tan Spirit Seer with the relic to allow it to re-roll. It's going to try and protect the Shining Spears. Casts.
That's an 11.
Only has one spell. Eldred is going to try and fortune the Shining Spears, which casts on an 8. And I don't have any decent targets for anything else, so that's
okay.
Nice quick.
So nice quick psychic phase. The Shining Spears are definitely buffed up, so make it a bit harder to take them out with my Genestealer Cults. So we'll do the shooting for the Eldari and see. Some of my units are hidden. This flyer is going to be able to shoot, and a lot of these units are going to be able to shoot at some of my units. So we'll see what happens to me then. Start the shooting phase. Both Ranger squads fired in at my acolytes here. However, having moved, they're only hitting a 4, and I think of the 10 shots, Doug only got 3 hits. So here's hoping this dice rolling can continue that fine tradition. But 2 wounds, but I made both 4-up armor saves because I'm in cover. Now the flyer is going to open fire. What's he going to shoot at?
So again, same thing. I'm looking for first blood.
Yeah, so he's going to fire at these acolytes here.
So disintegrators have 3 shots each, 2 of them, so hitting on 3s. That's better.
That's much better.
Wounding on 3s at -3. I think that just kills you straight up.
Yep.
So that is 4 dead.
That's 4 dead. I've got 1 remaining.
I'm going to shoot the 3D3 missiles as well. So that's
6 shots.
6 shots. Hitting on 3s. No, that's 2.
2. Unlikely to survive.
On 2s. And 3 saves of 4-up.
Oh, no minuses?
No minuses.
Okay, so if I get really lucky, I could survive this.
And then splinter rifles after that.
Okay, maybe less so. But no, doesn't matter, he's dead. So that's these 5 acolytes have been slain here, and that is first blood for the Eldari. We'll do the rest of the shooting if there's any.
There is none.
No. Okay, so no other units in range. So he did get first blood, did kill a unit, but that could have gone a whole of a lot worse for the Genestealer Cults. At the end of a very quick turn for the Ynnari, so Ross will score, Doug. Doug will score supremacy for 1 point, and he will also score behind enemy lines and first blood, taking him to 3 points in total. Do you wish to discard mission critical?
No.
No, he's going to hold on to that, hopefully to do some damage in my turn. So we'll come back to you with the cards drawn for the Genestealer Cults and my movement at the first turn for them. Turn 1 for the Genestealer Cults, I drew Mission Critical Objective number 4, Defend Objective 1, and No Prisoners, so kill a unit. Looking at where the objectives were, I'll just show you in a second, I decided to spend the 2 CP to ditch Defend 1, and I redrew Supremacy, which works great for me. I should be able to get that no problem. So looking at Mission Critical Objective 4, is over here deep in the Eldari deployment zone. So some good screening here. I might not be able to get this, but we'll see. I can potentially get it in a future turn. So I'm going to do my movement, and hopefully I will roll just as well for reserves as Doug did and bring in a lot of units to ambush. Starting my movement phase, I moved 1 unit of Acolytes up to hold this objective 5 to get Supremacy. Unfortunately, now that I'm controlling this, if Doug gets the next turn, he'll get D3 for Mission Critical. The Russ moved over to target potentially the Rangers or the Guardians. My Magus moved up into smite range of this flyer. Unfortunately, he's not in range to use mind control, as it's only 12 inches. Neophytes moved up toward another objective. The Sentinel moved up to grab this objective to score me Supremacy. I rolled up for my reserves and got in the Patriarch, one of the Primus, the Neophytes, a unit 10 Acolytes, both Genestealer units, so that's good, and the other Scout Sentinel, so that's my truck with the Aberrants and the Primus, another Magus and another unit of Acolyte hybrids still to come in. So I'm going to spend a command point on the Meticulous Uprising for the Primus and one of the Genestealer Cult, Genestealer units. So that takes me down to 11 CP. So I get to roll 3 times on the table and I get a reroll for the Primus. So I'm looking for a 5 or a 6 here. Oh, that is pretty poor. Let's do the reroll from the Primus. 4 isn't great.
CP reroll.
Is it worth the CP reroll? I've got the other Genestealer units. So that puts me 9 inches away. So I would need a 9-inch charge. Do you know what? I need this to go off. Let's put these guys in. I kind of have to CP it, although that could screw me over for the rest of the cult ambush. Oh, is it worth it? Is it worth it, or is it worth waiting for the other one? I don't know. Let's just do it. And a 3. That is not a good roll. So I'm going to do the rest of my cult ambushes off camera and roll, do my deployment and see where I end up. Not the best start for me. I would have hoped to, out of 5 dice, I could at least roll above a 4. So that's not a great start because one of my Genestealer units is going to need a 9-inch charge, so it is doable, but it's not the best position to be in for now. I rolled up the rest of my ambushes. Fortunately, the other unit of Genestealers and the Patriarch rolled a 5 on the cult ambush table, allowing them to move up 4 inches. So the Patriarch went here for the Rangers, and the Genestealers were able to move up into this building so they can get a 5-inch charge off in the Shining Spears and they won't be able to overwatch, which is nice. The unit of Acolytes rolled a 3, meaning they have to set up 12 inches away. So there's no really good positions to put them in because of Doug's effective screening, so I just put them over here. I can maybe move them up or take them off next turn with the cult ambush. The Scout Sentinel came in next to the flyer. Over here, my unit of Neophyte hybrids rolled a 5 on the table as well, and I elected to use them to shoot, so I'm going to resolve their shooting attacks. And the Genestealers, who came in with the cult ambush on a 4, put them 9 inches away from the Guardians and the Rangers here, just in case I got lucky with the charge otherwise. So I'm going to do my shooting attacks first because the Neophyte's deployed, but then Doug is going to use the intercepting
called forewarned
stratagem to fire at my hybrids, sorry, my Genestealers. So hopefully my Neophytes can take a couple down to reduce the firepower coming at them.
Because these ones are all out of range. There's only 11 that are in range, and they're 2 shuriken cannons.
Oh, not all of them. I won't be able to kill them, but hopefully I'll be able to take a few down. So we'll do the shooting for them and see what damage I can do. I can hopefully do a few casualties and reduce the firepower coming at me, but I'm not going to be able to completely remove them. So I'm going to have to hope for the best with my invulnerable saves on the Genestealers. So I'm shooting my autoguns from the Neophyte hybrids at the Guardians here. 18 autogun shots hitting on 4s.
So you got anything that's got any kind of AP on it?
No, no AP at all. You want to play anything?
No.
Okay, so hitting on 4s. So this unit will also get to shoot in the shooting phase as well, so hopefully they can do a bit more damage, but that's only 6 hits. Statistically not doing well. Wounding on 4s because they're strength 3. That is 3 wounds though.
3 wounds. Alright, so I'm going to take them on my platforms that are 3 up armor save and 2 in cover.
Okay.
So 2 up, 2 up, and 2 up.
Yep, that's no good. And then the seismic cannon moved, so hitting on 5s. Had I known that, I might have gone for higher AP. Wounding on 4s, that's 1 wound.
No AP?
No, no AP.
So 2s again. Oh,
and it fails, so takes a wound.
2 wounds each.
Okay. So my shooting was completely ineffective. We'll see what Doug's shooting back. Are these at -1?
Nope. So they are 2 shots each. 11 guys shooting.
Oh.
They are strength 4 AP dash, but on a 6 to wound, they rend at -3.
Doesn't matter, I've got a 5 up in gun anyway, but so it's a better raw spec scan because you don't get the -1, do you?
Nope, no -1, and it's anything in range.
That's very effective.
But I have to be next to a Farseer to do it.
Yeah. That's not really a big disadvantage because Farseers are pretty awesome.
And I like that hit roll.
Yeah, I don't. I don't so much. It is wounding on 4s because they're Genestealers. This could be very nasty here.
Or not.
Yeah, that was pretty horrendous. That was only 6 wounds.
6 wounds, and then I'm going to shoot the platforms.
Oh yes. So 6 wounds, then my 5 up in bun because I couldn't get everyone in cover. I saved 2 statistically, so 4 die. He just needs to kill 2 more to reduce my attack number.
So with the platforms hitting on 3s again, and they are strength 6.
So that's wounding on 3s. That's 3 more wounds. I need to make at least 2 of these or I'm down to only 3 attacks each. So I've lost 4 already. And I make 2, so that's 5 in total, so I still have 10 left in that unit. So I'll remove 5 of these, and then I will, hopefully if I make my 9-inch charge, I will still be able to do some damage with my extra attacks. And it's now on to my psychic phase once I get rid of my casualties. Psychic phase, I'm just going to start with a smite, which will target this flyer here with my Magus, so I need a 5. Yep, no one's in range to deny, so that's D3 mortal wounds. That's 2 mortal wounds. I'll take that, or he gets to save. Nope, so that takes 2 mortal wounds. My Patriarch is going to cast Mass Hypnosis on the... Do you know what? He's going to cast it on the Guardians.
What's the range on it?
It's 18 inches, so
yeah.
He should be in range. We'll double check the range, but I think that's 18 inches.
He's definitely in range.
Oh, I'll check the range on the psychic power. I'm pretty sure it's 18.
Oh.
He's just in. If it is 18, he's just in. But we'll roll up the psychic power. I figured he's probably going to charge the Rangers here, but unless they get incredibly lucky, they're not going to kill him. Whereas, as Doug said, if he kills 1 more of my Genestealers in Overwatch, I get no bonus attacks. So, on the off chance that I do make the charge, let's see if I can do Mass Hypnosis. That's a 7, so that's cast. We'll just double check the range and make sure that power can go off. We double checked the range, and yeah, it is 18 inches and casting a 7, so these Guardians won't be able to fire Overwatch, which hopefully, if my squad get in, they can do some damage. And I'll do my shooting phase and see what I can get. Rest of my shooting phase, this Sentinel fired at the flyer, because it was the only thing in range. No hits, so that was no good. These Acolytes fired their pistols at the flyer, because again there's nothing in range, but I actually did a great 2 hits and 2 wounds on 6s, and 1 of which got through. So that flyer is down 3 wounds. The Neophytes over here, The 4 las guns that could see fired at the Rangers here, and managing to kill off one of them. The mining laser fired at the flyer, and actually managed to hit and wound, but then Doug made a 6-up save. I wish we could get that in camera, because I rolled a 6 to hit with the same die, 6 to wound with the same die, and then you rolled a 6-up armor save with the same die. We did check, it's not a loaded dice. The grenade launcher failed to hit. The unit of neophytes over here fired at the Rangers here, did no damage at all. And the Sentinel fired into the Shining Spears, but failed to do any damage. So the last thing left to fire in my army before the ever-exciting charge phase is the Layman Russ. I think I'm going to put the las cannon into the flyer, even though I'm hitting on a 6. I'm hitting every vehicle on a 6 thanks to the inherent -1, so maybe I can do some damage. The heavy bolters I will put into the Rangers in the middle here. Again, hitting on 6s, but there's really no better targets in range. The battle cannon will be hitting on 5s. So what I think I'm going to do is put that into one of the... Do you know what? Let's just put it into the flyer, because I'm hitting on 5s anyway, so I may as well do some damage there if I can. It's unlikely. I'm unlikely to kill any vehicle, so let's do the battle cannon to start with. That is 8 shots. Where's that dice that always rolls 6s? So 8 shots, that is hitting on 5s, because I did move, but I have grinding advance. Hitting on 5s, that is 1 hit. Strength 8, so wounding on 3s. That is no wound. Let's CP reroll that. I've not used one yet in this turn. And I roll a 2. So that's no good. That's me down to 9 command points, I believe. The las cannon doesn't hit, and the heavy bolters, these -1s, at least you're not a Laytok, otherwise it would be pretty much impossible for me to hit in.
Oh, you're close enough, so it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, well, not on the flyer, but on the Rangers. Yeah. So hitting on 6s again, because I moved with the heavy bolters. That is 1 hit. Where were those 5s when I was firing the battle cannon? That is a wound as well at -1, and that's a save. So, yeah, my shooting phase, I caused 2 wounds. I killed 1 Ranger and 1 wound on the flyer. If my battle cannon rolling had been a bit better, maybe I could do some damage. But now we come into the all-important charge phase. So the Genestealers are going to charge the Shining Spears.
Double one, double one, double one.
The Patriarch is going to charge the Rangers here, and these Genestealers are going to charge the Guardians, and I actually think I might put the Neophytes into the Guardians as well. Well, it depends. I'll roll for. I don't have to declare all at the start, do I? No. If the Genestealers get in, I'll probably leave the Neophytes where they are. But if they don't get in, I might risk a charge. Probably not. It'll probably not do much damage anyway, but they'll just more likely die in Slumption. So let's roll up first. Where's that dice that rolls 6s? Let's roll up the charge for the Genestealers. Because I got to move 4 inches, I need a 5-inch charge to get in on the Shining Spears. And if I get a really big number, I can hopefully go after the objective there, which would be very nice. So,
Number what?
6. So I've made it in. It's not worth the CP reroll, I don't think, because if I can get further and get the objective, then maybe. But I'd rather save my command point for the other Genestealer unit, because if I don't get them in, they are dead. So the Patriarch will roll the Overwatch now.
6s.
Yeah, that's one hit.
Another 6, please.
And that's a mortal wound. Do I want to pass that off? No, I'm not in range. I kept him out of range foolishly. So is that a mortal wound in addition?
It is, yep.
So that is 2 wounds of the Patriarch, so that is not great to start with. And his charge roll is a 5, that's just enough to get in. So we'll roll up for, there's no Overwatch for the other Genestealer unit because I got Mass Hypnosis off on the Guardians, although in hindsight it might have been better on the Patriarch now. And we will roll to see if I can get in. I need a 9-inch charge here. Big money, big money. 5, I'm going to spend the CP reroll. I may as well, that puts me down to 8 command points. I need a 4+. And that's in. That's an 11, so that's not great news for Doug.
That's
but
4 Guardians.
Yeah, we'll move. The screens are going to be pretty dead. And we'll move. Oh, and the Primus wants to go in as well, so that I can get the +1 if I get them in range. So he'll need a 9, no rerolls. He gets a 5, so he's not going to give them the +1. So we will move the charging units and come back to the combat phase. Start the combat phase. I'm choosing to fight with this Genestealer unit, obviously. Doug is spending 2 CP on lightning fast reflexes, which I think is a good idea, give me -1, but I am getting +1 because of the Nearby Patriarch, giving them +1 because they're Genestealers. So we're going to roll up the attacks, so that's 60 attacks for a unit of 15. However, I'm going to roll on 30 at a time, but I am only hitting on 3s thanks to the stratagem he's just played. So hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s. Going to roll these up, see how many I get off camera, and then see what saves Doug can make. We rolled up and I managed to get 15 wounds at -1 and 8 rending wounds. So overall, the stratagem managed to save you about 10 attacks.
Well, let's see if I've got any attacks after this. So the 2 up goes to a 3-up armor save on the 15 attacks. So that's 1, 2,
4, 5, 6. So that's 7.
7, yeah.
7. So that's 3 dead at the moment.
They got 2 wounds each.
Yeah, so
and
3 dead
have,
and 1 wound.
5 up feel no pain. So.
Oh, they have, and yeah.
So 5 up feel no pains. Come on. So
that's pretty good actually. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 dead and 1 wound after he made what, 6 feel no pain. So that's yeah. 1, 2. Not great. I'd hoped to have done better with them.
it's 4 dead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
So unfortunately, I don't have a stratagem allowing me to attack again. In which case, I would definitely be using it. We'll go on to
I definitely would be stopping it.
Yeah, we will go on to the rest of the attacks and see what damage I can do. In the combat phase, the Patriarch completely whiffed his attacks. He got 6 attacks, hitting on 2+, and I rolled 3 1s. I did manage to kill 2, but he was able to pull the casualties out of range so that I couldn't stay in combat. Over here, the other Genestealer unit hit like a ton of bricks and killed off 15 of the Guardians and the weapons platforms. So Doug is just in the process of removing these because morale will kill them, and I don't think he's going to spend the CP to keep them alive.
Not 5.
So attacks back. The Rangers are out of combat, but the Shining Spears will get to attack the Genestealers. So hopefully I'll survive here. But I really thought the Genestealers would wipe this unit, but the protection of Jinx and the -1 to hit helped them a lot. So these guys are probably going to get shot to pieces next turn. I was feeling good about the game, but to be honest, I'm probably going to lose both Genestealer units, and yeah, that's going to be a problem. Because I don't really have any hard hitters left nearby that can actually do any damage. So we'll see what happens. So we'll do the attacks back and then we'll come back to you with my scores. As Doug quite accurately described it, a sort of wet noodle attack back because they didn't charge. 2 wounds caused on Genestealers, but I made both invuns, so that was okay. So at the end of my turn, I score no prisoners for 1, because I only killed 1 unit. I do get supremacy for 1. And is it worth holding on to mission critical, I wonder? All honesty, the odds of me having anything alive there at the end of this turn are slim, so I think I'm going to get rid of that. So mission critical objective 4 is over here. I don't count on the Genestealers being alive that much longer, so what I'm going to do is just get rid of it and hope to draw better cards next turn. So end of turn 1 for the Genestealer Cults. Not amazing, I must say. I was hoping to do more damage to the Shining Spears, and certainly I was hoping to at least kill these Rangers. Did they need a rat test?
Oh, that's a good question.
So the Rangers lost 2, this unit in the middle lost 1, so I think they're okay. Genestealers did perform well over here, but they only killed a unit of Guardians, so not amazing. And there's a lot of Splinter Fire to come back at me next turn, and I only have a few more reserves to bring in.
So my Rangers are 7 and they lost 2.
Yeah, so they could potentially lose another one, and they do. He rolls a 6. Closest?
Yeah.
So that's one of the Rangers' fleas as well, but not enough to score me any other points. So I score.
Spears are 8 and they lost 4.
Oh yeah, Shining Spears as well. Forgot about that.
I spend CP. I have 6.
Doug, after a bit of debate, Doug has decided to spend the 2 command points to auto pass, so he's now down to 4 to my 8. So the Shining Spears do pass because there was a chance they could flee on a 5 or 6, I think it was.
They're Legion 8 and they lost 4.
And they lost 4, so yeah, it would statistically less chance. But okay, so not a great turn for the Genestealers, but it's currently 3-2 going into turn 2 for the Ynnari. On turn 2, Doug drew Defend Objective 5, Psychological Warfare and Mission Critical. He had Mission Critical Objective 5. He really wants Objective 5, which is in my deployment zone, but he's going to struggle to get that this turn. Psychological Warfare is entirely possible, because as you can see, there's a lot of firepower going to come. The Shining Spears fell back, but used Feigned Retreat, so that means they can still charge and do some damage. One of the Archons and the 2 Venoms.
The Writ of the Living Muse to reroll 1 to wound.
Ah, yes, he's got the Relic. The 2 Psychers advanced, and the other Venoms moved up on the Genestealers here, while the Flyer moved over there towards the board edge, where he might actually have to go off next turn. We'll see if we can measure it up.
Should be alright.
It should be okay. So we'll move on to the Psychic phase, which I think is going to be a bit of damage for the Genestealer Cults. We'll see what they can do. So the Spirit Seer trying to cast Protect on the Shining Spears and failed it with the reroll. That's big for these.
Yeah. Eldred then is going to try and Fortune Spirit the Shining Spears, and he has a reroll. But I think I'm going to probably leave them buffless.
Okay.
Because I think I'm going to want to reroll on the Doom. So I am going to. What's the Genestealer save?
It's 5 up armor, 5 up invuln.
So that'll be 4 up in
cover. Yeah.
But I reckon Khan can probably kill a few of them as well. So I'm going to Doom these guys here.
Yep.
Cast on an 8.
Yep, so
should use that reroll.
Doom goes off, the Shining Spears are unprotected, but I really don't know if there'll be much left to threaten them at the end of this turn.
Well, hopefully they're going to be on Objective 5.
Oh yeah, you've got some movement shenanigans.
So the Incarn is going to try and cast Word of the Phoenix on the Shining Spears.
What's that allow them to do?
An action.
Oh, okay.
Cast on an 8. And that's not gone off.
And that's a fail.
Okay.
Do you want a CP reroll?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to. I've only got 2 CP left.
Oh, okay.
And then the Incarn is going to smite on a 5.
Finally, psychic power is going off.
D3 mortal wounds.
1. So 1 Genestealer dies. So not an amazing psychic phase for. What was your plan? To get them to move over?
Yeah. So
if I
could have got them to either activate now, I could have got them to shoot and then move again and then charged.
Okay, so now at the moment they're going to be stuck there pretty much.
Well, they'll probably kill.
Probably assault some. Okay, so we'll see what the shooting phase can do for these guys, and we will come back to you. So not an amazing psychic phase, but very good for me. Just a quick note before we start. I forgot that I could attempt to block Doom on the Genestealers with the Patriarch. However, he was going to need a 10 because Eldrad rolled an 8 and gets +1, so that's not going to be any good. As you can see from the shooting phase, the 2 Venoms, and well, 4 of the Venoms in total, 2 Venoms here, 2 Venoms here, open fire on the Doom Genestealers, and as you can see, there's none of them left. One of the Venoms fired at the Genestealers over here, managing to kill 4, so there's 6 left in that squad. The big news is over here, so the Shining Spears fired at the Patriarch on 4 wounds left. Doug absolutely whiffed his rolls and I made some good invuns, meaning his laser lances only did 1 wound, taking 2 damage. His splinter rifles did 3 wounds and I made all 3 saves. And then the 2 squads of Rangers tried to finish him off on 2 wounds so that he could soul burst over onto the objective. And neither unit failed to do any damage. So the only unit left to shoot is the Flyer, which is going to shoot at...
So I'm going to split shooting between the Magus and the squad, because I think the Magus is...
Yes,
yep.
He's the closest, so you can shoot him. So that was poor positioning my part. I think it's only a 5. Okay. So we'll do...
I'm going to shoot the missiles plus the splinter at the Magus, and then I'm going to shoot the disintegrators at the squad in cover.
Yep.
So disintegrators at the squad in cover, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, and it's -3.
So that's 3 dead?
Yep. So on the Magus, I will use the missiles for 3d3 shots.
Yep.
So that is
7
shots.
I always forget, Genestealer Cults do have a rule called Unquestioned Loyalty, which if there's a unit within 3 you can pass off wounds. However, I always forget about this rule, so I never put units close enough, which is pretty horrendous for me. So we'll see what happens. So this is probably a dead Magus.
So this is the missiles. All hit.
All hit.
2's to wound.
Any save?
Yeah, just regular save.
Regular save. I'm pretty sure it's 5 up on the Magus, so this is probably a dead one, unless I roll amazingly. 4 wounds, let's double check. I think he's dead.
And I've got the splinter rifle.
Oh, okay, so we'll do, that's 4 wounds go through.
3 hits.
3 hits.
And 2 further wounds.
2 further wounds. I made them both, so we'll just check. He did 4 wounds, I think that's enough to kill him, but I will double check, so that's my fault for positioning him incorrectly. And so that's the shooting phase over. We'll see what charges, if any, we're going to have, and then we'll come back to you with the fight phase. In the charge phase, as you can see, the Shining Spears went in after the Patriarch managed to make it in. Hopefully I can roll at a boss again. And the Ynnari went into the Genestealers here. We did check, and the Magus only has 4 wounds, so he is dead. At the moment, not looking to score anything, but we'll see what happens in terms. So could get psychological warfare, but unlikely to get mission crit or defend 5. Mission crit 5 or defend 5 at the moment. So we'll see what can happen now. So with only 2 command points left, I can't get Agents of Vex, so if I wanted to, I could spend 2 CP to interrupt. So Doug is going to attack with the Shining Spears first, onto the Patriarch. Let's hope he can fluff them all again, but unlikely.
I'll take that. So wounding on 3s. Because I charged you this time.
What's the strength?
6 and
so,
8 on the...
it's wounding on 3s, so that is...
-4 AP.
Yep, so 5s, I need to do all these like a boss.
I suspect he might be dead.
Is it 1 wound each or 2?
No.
2 wounds.
Damage each.
Oh, okay, so I need to make every single one of these. Ah, no, he's dead. He is definitely dead. Do you know what? I'm wondering if it's worth it with the Genestealers to spend 2 command points. I'm going to check out the stats on the Ynnari and see if it's worth 2 CP, and then I can decide what I'm doing. With the death of the Patriarch, Doug used the Soul Burst to move the Shining Spears up here. He was going to go after Objective 5, but these units are troops, so he wasn't going to be able to claim it from me. His original plan was to kill the Patriarch, Soul Burst over here, and then charge these guys, I think, to kill them and grab the objective. But the Patriarch tanking a whole bunch of wounds, like a boss, meant that he was unable to do this plan. But they have moved up here. However, they are unprotected at the moment, so potentially some damage could be caused to them if I can get a unit in. Over here I have 8 command points left. I decided just to spend them to attack. I may as well try and do some damage to the Karn with the Genestealers. Otherwise I'm really not going to do anything with them. I imagine they'll get killed quite easily. So let's spend the command points and see what I can do. 15 attacks. I'm going to use the rerolling ones weapon because he's got a 4-up invuln anyway, so my rending really doesn't matter. So hitting on 3s, just as well. That's there's a couple of 2s in there, so that's 13 hits. Toughness 6. So 5s to wound. Hopefully I can do some damage to it here. I'm getting good with my 5s and 6s this game. So that's 2, 4, that's 6 wounds.
So 6 wounds. 4s. Then 6s.
No, so 3 wounds taken off the Karn. We'll do their attacks back and we'll see what I can do and what we score at the end of this turn.
So hitting on 2s.
Yep, your Karn's attacks back, hitting on 2s. That's pretty good round. Wounding on.
No, I missed with 1, so I've got another attack.
Yeah, you've got another attack, you need to roll that. That's, yep, so 6 hits.
So strength 6, so
wounding on 3s
with rerolls because of his sword.
That's 6 wounds. Let's see if I can boss some 5-up invulns again and have some of this unit left alive. No, that's just enough to kill me. That's only 1 save, so that's the unit dead. At the end of my turn, I lost 3 neophyte hybrids. They are...
I haven't finished yet.
Oh.
Ynnari.
What? Oh, yeah.
We get to take turns within turns within turns.
Oh, another soul bust, damn it.
So I'm going to consolidate.
Yeah. So, more Ynnari tricks, unfortunately. They really are a ridiculously good army. And this isn't even an amazing Ynnari army you're playing me with.
So I reckon I'm going to charge. I reckon that's a 7.
And you get to, yeah, Soul Burst allows you to...
So I get to make an action and I can't make the same action that I've already made. So I can't move him back and hide him. So forwards it is.
Okay, so we'll roll the Overwatch and see... That's...
Charges an 8.
Yeah, charge an 8, so he makes it, and we'll roll the Overwatch, see if I can do any damage. That's probably a dead neophyte squad as well.
Fight.
So, fortunately for me, the Karn doesn't actually get to attack again. He just stops me shooting, but I did manage, the neophytes did strike back. I managed to do a wound. For the morale phase, I lost 3 of the neophytes over here. And so my leadership is 8. So on a 6, I will lose 1, and Doug will score psychological warfare. So, nope, 4, I'm fine. So at the end of his turn, Doug doesn't score defend 5, psychological warfare, or mission crit. So no points. Do you want to discard anything?
I reckon I can probably get 5 next turn. I reckon I'm going to discard psychological warfare.
Okay, so you discard psychological warfare. Pretty good second turn for the Ynnari. Took out both my Genestealer units, which are my big hitters. Unfortunately, I put the aberrants in the truck at the start of my deployment, so they can't actually cult ambush by our reading the rules, so they're not going to be able to charge in this turn. There's still a lot of units here that I really have nothing to deal with at the moment. My Genestealers and my Patriarch are both dead, the big hitters, but I will see what objectives I can draw, because it's only 3 points to 2 at the moment, so with a good round of objectives the next turn, I should be able to get some decent score. It's all then just a case of surviving the game long enough to actually win and do some damage. So we'll see what damage I can do and what objectives I draw. In my second turn, I drew Secure Objective 2, Defend Objective 2, Witch Hunter. I decided to discard Witch Hunter for the 2 CP, and I drew Secure Objective 3, because I don't think I'm going to be able to kill the Karn, probably, although I'll be annoyed if I do now. And the other objectives, so Objective 3 is here, held by the Rangers, so I'm going to need a good roll on the ambush table if I want to get to them. Objective 2 is over here, so I'm going to secure it. Defending it, maybe not. We shall see what happens. So I'm going to do my movement, and my rest of my units come in for ambush, and we'll see how I can deploy for there. Movement phase on turn 2 for the Genestealer Cults. The neophytes fell back from combat. Because we're using the terrain rules, they are out of line of sight, so hopefully if they survive to defend Objective 2, he's going to have to go in and clear them out. The Primus moved up on the Karn, the Sentinel stayed where it was, the Russ moved up to get line of sight on the Shining Spears here, whereas this unit moved up needing a 9-inch charge to get into the Rangers if I want that objective. The Acolytes here moved back, so they're no longer holding Objective 5, which means if Doug scores it, he's only going to get 1 point rather than D3. The truck came on with my Psyker here, hoping to get a smite off on this flyer. The Sentinel stayed where it is, so it can fire up at the Shining Spears. And finally, I'm bringing in my last unit of Acolytes with the Primus. And I'm going to spend 1 more command point to take me down to 3 on Cult Ambush. Hopefully I can roll decent this time, but we shall see. So I'll need to decide what I'm going after with these guys. So on the Cult Ambush table, 5, he gets 1 reroll anyway, but a 5's pretty good. If I can get a 6, even better. I don't, so I move D6 inches.
1, 1, 1.
2. Do you know what? Let's CP that. I'm down to 2 command points. May as well. If I can get any closer, that would be good. And that's cocked. Damn it. And it's a 1, so that's an 8-inch charge, which isn't. When I do roll well on the Cult Ambush table, I still suck. So we'll see what happens. I'll deploy them, and we'll go after the next unit. So the Acolytes went here. I forgot to roll for the Primus as well. He rolls separately for moving. He also rolled 2, which isn't great. So it is an 8-inch charge, which is better than a 9-inch charge, but not by much, to get into this objective here, or to get in on the Shining Spears. If I can't take them out in the shooting phase. So Psychic phase, I've got 1 Psyker left in transport. He's not a Psyker. Okay. The Primus isn't a Psyker. So we're going to throw a smite onto the flyer, being the closest.
Off the back of a transport? Can you cast off the back of a transport?
No, you can't actually, you're right. So no Psychic phase for me, as you cannot use out the back of transport. Shooting phase, we'll go straight into the Layman Russ is going to fire everything it has at the Shining Spears.
I think this is the turn I use my last 2 CP to give them -1 to hit.
Yep, so 2 CP on, what's it called? Lightning Fast Reflexes. So Russ into the Spears because they have no buffs on them. So it'll be nice if I can actually do some damage. The Battle Cannon, I need big numbers here. 7, not great.
4. Statistically average.
Yeah, I'm not. Don't care about statistics at this point, I have to kill you.
Roll more 5s.
So 5s and 6s to hit. I really hope I do well here. I get 2, no 1. Oh, gee,
That's got one.
Oh, caught. Okay, 1 was caught. 2 hits. He's been very kind to me there. 2 hits.
1 wound.
1 wound. I've got. Don't want to CP that. Do you know what? I've only got 2 left. I need 1 for the fight phase. Let's do it if I can have a chance of killing some. 2 wounds. So that's 2 wounds.
4 up.
1 goes
damage.
through. D3 damage.
I've got 1 guy.
3. Yeah, that's 3 damage. The last cannon doesn't hit. The heavy bolters. I get. That's cocked. That's also cocked. I get 2 hits with the heavy bolters. I'm wounding on 3s. I get 2 wounds with heavy bolters at -1.
3s.
No.
Cover.
Oh yeah, sure, on cover. So that's 1 wound with heavy bolters. So that's not brilliant, but it'll do. Let's put the rest of the shots in my army. I'm going to fire, see what I can do, and we'll come back to you with what will hopefully be a good charge phase, because otherwise I'm in trouble. The rest of the firepower of the army, most of it went in the Shining Spears, actually managing to do some good, killing off 2 of them with the combined fire of the Russ, the 2 Acolyte squads here, the Sentinel with the multi-laser and the truck. And the squad over here also fired at them, so taking them down a little bit. Over here, the Sentinel fired its autocannon into the Ynnari. Actually managed to take 2 wounds off it when 1 of them got through. And then I tried to do another wound with my needle pistol on the Primus and he failed. So it's down to 3 wounds. I'm probably going to have to charge him with the Primus. Probably not worth doing it with the Sentinel. But I can charge with the Primus. Might kill him, but I'll be annoyed because I got rid of Witch Hunter. If I do, I'm Warlord, so it's definitely worth a shot. Now we move on to the charge phase. What I'm going to do is the Layman Russ is going to charge the Shining Spears so that I can stop them from at least charging in my turn and doing some damage the way we shoot. And these 2 units, well, 1 unit is going to attempt to charge the Rangers in the centre, and if that fails, I'm going to put the other unit into the Rangers in the centre because I need to hold objective 3. If it does succeed, they should have enough to take care of the Rangers. I will put the others into the Shining Spears. I'll put the other unit in there, so it just depends. One's going to need a 9-inch charge, one's going to need an 8-inch charge. I have 1 command point reroll left. So let's go for the further away unit to start with. And Dice Gods, I know you've been kind to me this game, but...
So who's charging what?
This unit is going to charge the Rangers, so you will get to Overwatch. That's nothing. And let's see, I need a 9-inch charge. If I can roll big, I might use my command point reroll here. No, and that's a 3. There's not even worth the command point reroll. So this other unit here is going to go into the Rangers, so you'll get your Overwatch again. This is not going as planned. You get 1 hit. Nope, no wins. Come on, big money, big money, big money.
I like you where you are. Sorry.
That's a... I need a 4+ because they need an 8-inch charge. I will spend my last command point. I need a 4+, 50-50 chance of getting this objective and actually doing something in the game. Let's see. Oh, come on! That's a failed charge. The Primus is going to attempt to go in, so you will get to Overwatch with them. 2 hits on the Primus. 2 wins on the Primus. He's a 4-up armor save, I believe. I'll double check this. I think 1 goes through, so he's either a 4-up or a 5-up, but 1 save, 1 goes through. And he now needs an 8-inch charge. If he can, well, he'll need to wipe them out because he can't actually secure it. Okay. And that's a 5. That is not a single successful charge. The Russ is going to go into the Shining Spears.
Okay, so so Exarch with the Star Lance.
No.
There's other 2 with the Star Lance. No.
No.
And then Shuriken.
Oh yeah, and the Shuriken fire. So, I don't like to be overly pessimistic. Well, nothing. But I think that's probably the game there, because if I'd have got in here, these units down here, he's got so much firepower left, they're dead. They're going to get shot to death. Most of my army is going to get shot to death. I'm going to charge in with the Russ. I roll a 6, that's just enough to get in. I'm going to charge with the Primus on the Drukhari as well. She doesn't have any Overwatch,
nope.
I presume. I'm in, so that's just as well because I rolled a double 1, but I'm in. So I'm going to charge over there. At the end of my turn, I will get Secure Objective 2. I might get Defend Objective 2, maybe, depending on how Doug decides to play. Not going to get Objective 3. I'm probably going to lose most of my army. I was going to spend a command point on these guys to go back into the Disappear and Cult Ambush next turn, but I decided to move up and go for the charge. So we'll do the combat, see what I can do, and I'll probably score 1 point to bring it to 3-3, but I doubt I'll have much left of my army at the end of this turn, so we'll see what happens. So over here, the Primus attacked, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s thanks to his Toxic Injector Claw, managing to do 3 wounds, but only 1 got through to the Avarn, taking it down to 2. The Rust did no damage, but we need to do, in reply, the Drukhari absolutely slaughtered the Primus with ease. And over here we need to do the attacks back with the Shining Spears, but without charging I don't think they're going to do much damage. So we'll do the attacks back and then we'll come back to you with the scores. Attacks back and 2 wounds taken off the Rust. So at the end of my turn I score Secure Objective 2. I'll hold on to Defend Objective 2. It's unlikely I'll get it, but it's worth a shot, and I will ditch Secure Objective 3. So I forgot that we were playing First Strike in this mission, so I did get that. So at the moment, at the end of Genestealer Cult's turn 2, it's 4 points to the Genestealers, 3 points to the Ynnari, and we will see what cards. Oh no, we know what cards Doug. No,
I've got one to draw.
Doug has what? Sorry, apologies. Doug has 1 to draw because he did Psychological Warfare, and he draws Secure Objective 4, which is totally in his deployment zone, and Secure Objective 5 and Defend Objective 5. So he's going to get 2 points this turn, and he's probably going to wipe out most of my army. So we'll see what happens for the Ynnari, and we'll come back to you with the movement phase. As we say, start of Ynnari turn 3, Doug has Secure Objective 4, Defend Objective 5 and Mission Critical Objective 5. As we said, 4's in his deployment zone, so you'll get that. 5 you'll probably get if he falls back the Shining Spears or moves up another unit, so we will most likely be scoring at least 2 points this turn. End of the movement phase, the Shining Spears fell back onto the objective to claim it as we expected. 1 unit of Cableites came out onto this objective to grab it. All the Venoms moved up to target my Genestealers here, who are probably not long for this world. The flyer, actually, after measuring and checking, the flyer had to go off the board, so it is gone and dead, and the Drukhari moved up into the to take on the Neophytes, who she'll probably slaughter quite readily, and everything else. So we'll move on to the psychic phase. What's going to go first?
So first off, Eldred is going to smite. These are, I think, the closest, or is the Sentinel the closest?
Okay.
Equidistant, really.
Yeah, so Eldrad's going to cast a smite, and it's going to hit these guys. I think they're closer. Going to hit these guys. We'll see what they can do. That goes off, and D3 mortal wounds. That's for 1, so 1 dies.
Then I'm going to doom the Leman Rust.
Yep. That's
my
perils.
reroll.
Damn it.
On an 11.
Yeah, that's an 11. That's good. So the Rust is doomed, so there's going to be a lot of firepower coming in at him. I might, or maybe not so much, but might help out.
Spirit Seer is going to jinx the unit in the cover.
Okay. The unit of Neophytes. And that's perils, you get a free reroll.
I do, but I think I'll just take it.
Okay.
So D3 mortal wounds.
And he takes 1 mortal wound. So this unit in here, this unit of Acolyte Hybrids has been jinxed. So psychic phase done, we'll go on to what's sure to be quite a tough shooting phase for me, and we will see what I have left at the end of this shooting phase.
Oh, and Incarn's going to smite.
Oh yeah, Incarn as well.
Actually, it's -1, he's got 2 wounds left. Probably not my best idea.
Oh, can you roll it anyway? Let's see if you perils for a 3rd time. No. Oh, what a shame.
I would have done 1.
What a shame.
My smite's
double perils, we could have killed off all the psychers. So we'll come back after the shooting phase and see what is left alive. In the Ynnari shooting phase, the Venoms and the squads inside opened their fire, and as you can see, I lost 9 members of one squad and 3 of the other. The blasters also targeted the Leman Russ. Most of them actually failing to wound, even with the jinx, but he got 2 hits with the 2 blasters from various units and managed to take 9 wounds off, leaving it on 3. So the Rangers are now going to open fire on the Russ to see if they can finish it off.
Or should I do the Shining Spears first? No, because they're quite good at killing units. Okay, so Rangers. So the big squad on the objective.
Yep.
1
hit. 1 hit. He needs
6.
Nope, no damage.
Doom. Hey!
Hey, he gets some mortal wounds and a wound. So, no minuses?
Nope.
And a fail, so he's down to 1 wound remaining on the Leman Russ.
2 Rangers.
That's 2 hits. That's no wounds.
No wounds.
No wounds. So
1.
He's on 1 wound remaining.
So all I have left to shoot is the Shining Spears.
Yep. So the Shining Spears are going to put, I assume, their spears into the Russ and their shuriken into the squad.
Sounds like a plan.
Which squad? The squad of 2? Or the squad of 1?
Oh, then I'll split. So I'll shoot 1 shuriken into the 1 and 2 into the Doom.
Yep, that makes sense. So probably going to...
And then I'm going to measure... I need to measure the range on the spears because they're only 6.
Should be in. We'll double check though.
Yeah,
they're on. So hopefully this will blow up and kill some spears off. We'll see.
Exarch.
Hits.
4s.
Wins.
-4.
Yeah, so it's dead. Does it blow up? Come on, 6. Yeah, it does. So we're going to check the range and roll damage for that.
6 inches.
Yep. So the Leman Russ is going to explode and do D3 mortal wounds to everyone range. So first up, no command points left, so we'll do the Shining Spears. Come on, big money. That's 1, so it does kill... Nope, 1 takes a wound. My squad here, this is where I roll big, 3, and my Primus gets 1. So this squad dies, which means your firepower is wasted. Oh, really, if at any time I wanted to roll high for these guys, it would have been then.
So then on this last dude here,
yeah,
2 hits, 1 rends, so he's
dead. Yep. So pretty effective round of shooting there for the Ynnari. We have a unit here, 2 units that were here. We have a dead Leman Russ. We have a Primus on 1 wound, sitting here. Charge phase, I assume we're going to get a charge in at the Karn from the squad.
Absolutely.
If
the Shining Spears, I reckon, are also going to charge.
They can't. You fell back.
That's very true.
Yeah, the Shining Spears cannot charge.
No stress.
But I do get to fire Overwatch at the Yukon. He's got 2 wounds left. If I get incredibly lucky, I can kill it off before we go. So I'm going to roll my Overwatch and we'll see if I can do any damage. So the Khan's going to charge, we're going to Overwatch, so this is my auto guns, hitting on 6s. That's not bad, that's 3 hits. Wounding on 6s, so this is where I need to get a few. 1, and the Seismic Cannon, hitting on 6s. Let's use the special dice that always rolls a 6. Oh, it doesn't work, but the other one does. Strength 6, so wounding on 4s. Oh, and that's a failed wound, damn, that was like 2 damage.
4 up in one.
4 up in one. Yeah, he's fine. So the Karn is going to charge in, pretty much can't fail it. So, yeah, he rolls a 9. he's in. So we'll come back with what's sure to be a very quick combat here. No other charges, I presume. The Shining Spears can't. No one else is in range to charge my Primus. So we will see how I do after this. We'll see what happens with the combat. Combat here, the Ynnari managed to kill 6 of the squad for no damage in return. The squad didn't die, so no soul burst at the moment.
You know what I did forget to soul burst though? Was the Lehman Russ.
Oh right, yeah. We'll come back and do that, but morale phase...
We've just done combat.
2-8. I actually passed my morale for this squad, so this squad actually managed to survive. So at the end of turn 3, I do score secure objective 2, because the Sentinel holds it, taking me up to 6 points, and Doug scores secure objective 4 and mission critical objective, and he starts defending objective 5. So at the moment that is 6 points to 5 for the Genestealer Cults with a turn in hand. So we'll see what objectives I draw and what I can do for that. Start of my turn 3, I draw secure objective 5, defend objective 6 and secure objective 1. 5 here is currently held by the Shining Spears, but I've got a troops unit here that can move out and grab it. 6 is over here, which I can probably defend if I can stay alive long enough. 1 is over here, which I'm not going to get. I don't really have anything in range that can do the damage, so I'll probably need to give up on that, but potentially I could get defense 6 and I'll get secure 5 almost definitely. So I will do my movement phase, no more reserves to come in. I'll do my movement phase and see where the Genestealer Cults end up and what I'm going to do. Movement phase, the Aberrants and Primus moved out of the truck on the Shining Spears. The truck and the Sentinel stayed still to get the most of their firepower. Primus moved back. I tried to advance to get him into the cover, but only rolled a 1 for the advance, so I had to move this unit round to grab the objective and make him not the closest. The Sentinel moved back to help defend objective 6, spreading out them the unit further apart, and the squad here fell back from combat. They'll most likely die, but at least they're out of line of sight of most of the army for the moment. Psychic phase, I'm going to put Might from Beyond into the Aberrants rather than a Smite to hopefully give me more attacks. An 8, that's cast. Don't know if anyone's in range. Nope, no one's in range to block, so they get +1 attack and +1 strength. They're wounding on 2s anyway, but the extra attack will be useful, especially since if I get in to combat, I will still be in +1 range of the Primus, so that will be hitting on 3 still.
That's such a dead squad.
That is hopefully a very dead squad. That's my psychic phase. I'm going to do some shooting, see if I can do some damage, maybe kill the Ynnari. It's got a couple of wins left. I've got a mini las cannon and some squads over here. I've got some heavy weapons here that can potentially shoot at some venoms, do some damage. So I'll see what objectives I can, what damage I can do. So we'll start off with the Sentinel firing at the Recon. 2 shots with the autocannon. He is the closest, so hitting on 5s because I moved back to secure the objective. That's 1 hit. Ooh, this would be nice. Wounding on 3s, of course he fails. Let's put the mining laser into her. That fails. And a grenade, crack grenade hits. Wounds though, 4 up invuln. No, this is D3 damage. So he's got 2 wins left. So we'll see what happens. Can I do some damage? 1, only 1.
Feel no pain.
Feel no pain. Nope. So it's down to 1 wound remaining. That is most infuriating because I don't think anything else is. I'll check the ranges. Maybe my
autoguns.
Yeah, my autoguns might be able to shoot, and one of my vehicles might be able to, though I don't think so. Oh yeah, forgot. The Shining Spears are much closer. So I'll do the rest of my shooting. See what I can do. In the shooting phase, the multi-laser fired at this Venom, failed to do any damage. The truck managed to fire its twin autocannon, putting 2 wounds on it. I fired a couple of las guns that could see in this squad into the Karn. Didn't do any wounds, so it is down on 1 wound, which is most infuriating. If I could roll better for the grenade, it might have died. So, with that, we will move on to the charge phase, where hopefully the Aberrants will be able to make it in and do some damage to the squad here. So we'll start off. We measured up, the Aberrants need a 4-inch charge to get in there. Overwatch did no damage, so let's see. Oh, 7, that's enough. The Magus will probably follow in as well, just so you can get a bit closer to the enemy army to maybe deny some psychic powers in my turn, as opposed to actually doing anything in combat. So we'll roll to see if he gets in, we'll come back to you with the combats. Starting my fight phase, the Aberrants are going to fight. They've got Might of Heroes on them, so they get 3 attacks apiece. Normally it's -1 to hit with the hammers, but because the Primus round the corner here is within 6 inches of them, they get +1. So that's 15 attacks, hitting on 3s. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Ouch.
And that is going to be wounding on 2s. Yeah, because they're strength 12, toughness 4.
I'm happy to take the unit off, but I think...
Yeah, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 wounds at -3.
So 6 hits, yay!
Yeah, that unit's dead, so the Shining Spears have finally been slain. Unit that hopefully should have died in turn 1. As Doug and I were just discussing off camera there, the better option might have been to put them with a Primus, and if they had gone into the Shining Spears on turn 1 and made the charge, odds are they would be very dead. So that's something to think about in future. I thought the Genestealers would be enough to do it, but no. So these guys get to consolidate. At the end of my turn, I score.
Before you go to there. Hello.
So the Karn can do special shenanigans thanks to Ynnari cheese. Ultimate Ynnari cheese. So the Karn with 1 wound moves over here. Shame the Aberrants don't have any shooting attacks. You've got 1 wound left. If I'd have been able to roll better than a 3+ on your grenade, I could have killed you. But so at the end of my turn, I will get secure objective 5 because I have troops here in range of the objective. I will start defending objective 6, but at the moment I will ditch secure objective 1 because I'm not going to get to it. So the end of my turn, that takes it to 7 points to 4, I believe, or 7 points to 5 for the Genestealer Cults, and I actually managed to survive a turn, which I was not expecting. So we'll go into turn 4 for the Ynnari and see what can happen. Ynnari turn 3, we drew, Doug drew Kane's Wrath, which is charged with a Craftworld unit, which is either his Rangers or his Psychers, so he can move up and get a 9-inch charge. Secure objective 3, which he's currently on, and defend objective 5, which he's potentially get, but is unlikely. So objective 5 is over here, where this Karn's going to do some damage. The Rangers are the only unit possible of charging in, and they're going to need at least a
charge on this one.
Yeah, they're going to need a charge.
Be less on this as well.
Yeah, so we're going to measure up and see what the charges are and do some movement for the Ynnari. In the movement phase, the Karn is moving over there. Doug is looking to shoot the Aberrants and then charge in on the squad here to kill them off. The rest of the units moved up to secure the objective. The Eldrad and the Farseer advancing, whereas the Rangers moved over here, needing either an 8-inch charge on the neophyte hybrids or the Sentinel in order to get the charge and secure him the victory point for that. So we'll go on to the psychic phase and see what damage, if any, can be done.
Okay, so we will start off with Eldrad doing a smite in order to get his buffs rolling.
Yep.
So 17, yeah, so on the aberrants.
Yep. That's fail on a 4. Oh no, 5, you get +1.
No, not until he casts and he fails again.
And he fails, so no smite going off there.
So he's going to try and doom them.
Yep.
Doesn't get the plus, but he makes it this time.
He makes an 11. I'm going to attempt to deny it because normally I wouldn't bother because I can only deny 1 power. However, the the Magus gives a special rule which allows units that are the target, units within 6 inches of them that are the target of an enemy psychic power, they can attempt to deny it as if they were a psyker. Okay. I am needing a 12, but I may as well. It doesn't cost me anything. Oh, I saw 1-6 and I was hopeful, but no, that goes off, so they are doomed.
Spirit Seer will do a smite.
Yep.
Casts.
That's an 8.
D3.
I was going to say, what does the Karn have?
It's
terms of
got
psychic powers?
smite, Word of the Phoenix, and what's it called?
Okay, well, I'll just decide whether I want to use my denial.
Smite.
I want to use my denial for the Primus. I can roll that. That was an 8, so I'd need a 9. I don't think it's worth it. So that's 3 mortal wounds. So 1 is dead and 1 is on a wound. And your final psychic power?
I don't think I'm going to risk it with Incarn.
Okay, well that's good to know. Let's see if I could have blocked it anyway. If I roll this, I'll be annoyed. I would have blocked it. That's annoying. So 1 aberrant is dead and 1 is down to a single wound. So with that, we'll do the shooting phase for the Ynnari and see what is left for the Genestealer Cults when the dust settles. Shooting phase for the Ynnari, as you can see, not much left here. The aberrants were killed off by some splinter fire, as were the neophytes. One of the squads in the raider fired a blaster at the Magus, managed to get hit and wound and rolled 6 wounds, so killed them off. Couple of more splinter weapons, taking the Magus down to 2. Blaster over here fired at the Sentinel but failed to hit. We're now got 2 Rangers into the Magus, Primus, sorry. 2 hits, 1 wound. He gets a 4-up save and cover. Nope, he's down to 1 wound remaining.
So it's going to be the 1 wound Incarn versus the 1 wound Magus.
Yep, that's going to be quite a battle. So that's the shooting phase done. We will
headshot the Incarn with your pistol.
We will go into the charge. I assume the Incarn's going to charge the...
He is indeed.
So I need a 6 to hit. Come on.
Go on.
No. Reroll, because I've got no command points. I'm just going to keep rolling until I get 6s, in all honesty. Yeah, that's a hit. We'll call that a hit. He hits on a 5+. He wounds. Would I have killed her? Yeah, just for fun. No, she would have survived, but she might fail the charge actually. So, like 4-inch charge, 4 inches. We'll measure up. Yeah, 6 is enough to get in. So that's probably going to be Warlord and the objective. The Rangers, are they going to attempt to charge?
They do. Oh, for the command point. Let's
for the victory point.
Victory point. Yeah.
So. Do an 8-inch charge. Who are you going to charge? The neophytes, I presume?
I might as well declare on both.
Okay, so we'll do the Overwatch. Hopefully I'll do some damage. So the Sentinel. Nope. And the neophytes. We will do this off camera and then come back to you with the charges. The Overwatch failed to do any damage. So we measured up early on the movement phase. We need an 8-inch charge to get either. So this could be big points. No, that's a 4, no command points, so no charges there. We'll do the combat between the Ynnari. We may as well just roll this, unless you get incredibly unlucky, he's dead. He's on a single wound, he's got no invuln save.
7 attacks, hitting on 2s. Can I do it?
All ones, all ones. 1-1. Wounding on 2s. All ones, all ones.
With rerolls.
Yeah, he's dead. You don't even need the reroll, so that is the end there. No attacks back.
Yeah, soul burst.
Dead. You're going to soul burst?
No, because I don't think there's anything better than holding the objective.
Nope. So, at the end of his turn, I do score defend objective 6, which is over there. Over here, which I'm holding. So I'll get secure objective 6. Doug will get
3.
Secure objective 3. And he started defending objective 5, I didn't realise, and he gets Warlord. So that takes it up to the end of his turn 4. That is 7 points, because you got Warlord, and 9 points to me. So I'm still in it by very few units left. So depending on what cards I can draw, and if the game ends on turn 5 and I somehow survive it, this could be a sneak victory for the Genestealer Cults. But we're not going to hold our breath. We'll see what card. Come back to you with the cards I draw and my movement based on them. In my turn 4, I drew Secure Objective 6, Secure Objective 6 and Secure Objective 2, which honestly, I don't think I could have drawn a better round the cards. I'll be able to move up and get 2 there by moving my guys into cover, and I'm already on 6, so all I'm going to do is move around. I might even be able to get Warlord if I can kill off the Ynnari here, so that will put me quite a few points ahead. All I have to do is basically survive till the end of the game, which in fairness could be a challenge, but we'll see what happens. I'll come back to you with my movement phase and the rest. Turn 4, my movement phase, I moved the Sentinel up here, even though that makes the shooting worse. I figured if I somehow don't kill the Ynnari, I'll at least stop him scoring defend objective for this turn, which would be nice. The truck stayed where it was. He's probably going to get a ton of blaster fire to the face, but I want to get better shooting so I can take this out. My unit here moved behind the ruins to try and get out of line of sight. Hopefully, if the game ends on turn 5, I can sneak a win and secure it and he can't get in to fire at me. My other unit of neophytes moved into the ruins here. Going to the edge of the wall, they are able to get into range of the objective to hold it. So at the end of my turn, I'm guaranteed 3 objective points, which will put me 5 ahead. If I can get Warlord as well, that is going to put me quite far ahead. All I have to do is try and survive. Oh, and my Sentinel stayed in place on objective 6 to claim that. So we'll see what his firepower can do. Although I've been saying for the past 2 turns that I'm going to have nothing left at the end of the game, I almost don't, but if I can hold
one model in this round.
If I can hold out to turn 5 and pull a victory, I will be most ecstatic. So with that, no psychic phase, we'll go straight into the shooting phase. Let's put the autocannon from the truck, Goliath truck, and the heavy stubber into the Ynnari here. So hitting on 4s because I didn't move.
What's this?
The twin autocannon. 2 hits. Oh, 1 wound. 1 wound. My rolling.
I need to go and get the 6 dice.
Yeah, oh no! She is.
6 up, feel no pain.
She is dead. That is Warlord. Does she explode?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's fine. So that is Warlord, so that's 4 points this round, pretty good. I'll do the rest of my shooting. There's a few choice targets, but not really much I hope to achieve with them. We'll come back to you then. So the rest of my shooting, the Sentinel with multi-laser fired at the wind and venom, did no damage. The other Sentinel managed to get 2 hits actually on this venom, but only 1 wound, both of which gone through, so it's down to 2 wounds, almost taking out a single venom. So at the end of my turn, I will get Secure Objective 2, Secure Objective 6, and Secure Objective 6 as well as Warlord, taking me up to 13 points to 7.
Still.
So at the moment I'm 6 points ahead, but as you can see, I have less than a dozen models left on the field, and there's a lot of Ynnari firepower coming back to me. So as we go into turn 5 for the Ynnari and Drukhari, I basically just have to hope for the best and that the game ends on turn 5. If it does not, I can see it being a tabling. Although I think Doug might be able to pull back the cards, but I think if it's a tabling, we will see what happens. Turn 5 for the Ynnari, and Kane's Wrath, which is make a charge, which is probably going to be entirely likely. Defend objective 5, which he potentially could get, and Big Game Hunter. So he has to take out my Goliath truck, which I think he was planning on doing anyway, and he has enough blasters to be able to do that, assuming they hit. So we'll see what is left at the end of this turn. End of the movement phase, this Sentinel's looking pretty surrounded. The Cabalites got out to grab the objective, where the Venom's moved up. The 2 Psychers advanced to get into smite range. Over here, some more Cabalites and the 2 Archons jumped out to get a charge in on the Neophytes, whereas the units here also moved up. So, talking there, Doug doesn't think he'll be able to table me come this turn, but if the game doesn't end...
I can't hurt these.
Yeah, if the game doesn't end on turn 5, maybe a moot point, because I think I might be tabled by then. So we'll see what happens with the psychic phase now. I assume, are we going to be smiting, dooming?
We are indeed. Alright, let's start with Eldred to smite.
Yep.
Casts on D3.
That's 3 on the Sentinel. He's only got 6 wounds, I believe, so if you get a good second smite.
And then, yeah, the Spirit Seer.
Also gets smite off 2, so I believe he's down to 1. We'll double check that though. Any more psychic powers before we move on?
No, none that can cast. Oh, I can doom.
The truck, I presume.
I don't know if I'm in range. It's 24 inches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, so doom on the truck. That's a fail on a 5.
Fail, but he has a free reroll.
He gets his free reroll because Eldar.
8.
So the truck's doomed. So if he does get any blaster hits, that is going to help considerably. We're just going to check the number of wounds on the Sentinel, and then we'll move on to the shooting phase. So Doug was debating whether or not to shoot the Sentinel, figuring that he has to charge it in order to get his point, but looking at how many points he's behind, he's probably just playing for the tabling. So he's going to fire 2 blasters into the Sentinel over there.
Both of the Archons, 2 to hit rerolling 1s.
That's 2 hits.
Your toughness 5.
And toughness 5,
So
I believe, on the
3s.
Scout Sentinel. 1 wound, no save.
Nope, D6.
5, so it's down to 1 wound remaining. That's a good round of shooting.
I'm going to try and ping it off with the Rangers.
Yep, Rangers over here.
1 hits.
Only, oh, you moved, yep. Nope, fails to wound.
Okay. Right, so I have a blaster in this squad. So I reckon, because they can't see through this wall here, because of the ITC terrain rules, I'll shoot everything at this. So the rapid firing is all but 1.
Yep.
So blaster. Hits.
Hits. And it's gone. Does it explode? It does not. Sorry, it does not. So the Sentinel there is very dead and off the objective. We'll do the rest of the shooting, see what, if anything, I have alive at the end of this turn. Rest of the Ynnari shooting phase, the Sentinel here was destroyed, didn't blow up. Sentinel over here was destroyed and didn't blow up. 1 blaster fired at the truck, failed to hit. The other hit and managed to do 3 wounds. So it's got 7 remaining, because I didn't make any rugged construction saves. And the rest of the Venoms now fired in at it, and only wounding on 6s because of their poison weapons, but it was doomed, so 9 wounds, no AP, so 4 up armour save for the Sentinel, which is enough to not kill it, and 6 up rugged construction. Oh, there's another 4, sorry. No, so that's down, it's now remaining on 3 wounds, so it's not dead yet. Do we have any more shooting that can go in?
The Venom's here.
Yep. So we'll do the rest of the shooting, see if the vehicle. I actually thought it would survive longer, but Doom has been very helpful on these 6s to wound.
This is both Venoms.
Yeah, so both Venoms firing. Oh, you get another one. Oh, that's 3.
So could do it.
Could do it. The dice that roll 6s is in this. It's not dead. 2 rugged construction. It takes 1 wound, so it's down to 2 wounds remaining. I don't think there's anything else I can shoot.
Those rangers are in range.
No, the rangers probably. So the truck does survive on 2 wounds. My plan next turn was to move this over, pick up this squad, and have them in there so they were safe from assaults, at least till destroyed. But I don't think I'm going to have the move remaining now because I'm down to 2 wounds.
They can move.
Potentially, it depends how. If I get really good advance rolls, then yes. But otherwise, I'm going to be struggling. So we move on now to the assault phase.
So I reckon that this guy needs an 8-inch charge.
Yep, we're going to roll the assaults.
This guy needs a 5-inch charge.
We can't do the Overwatch. You'll need to do the cable lights first because otherwise you're going to have to go round them.
Yep,
so cable lights are in, they get to move round. The Archon, one Archon needs an 8-inch charge. He's not in, the other needs a
5.
He is in. So this squad of 4 neophytes is most likely dead. Any more charges here?
I don't know. Oh yeah, I could finish that off.
You could potentially.
Gonna need like a 9-inch charge. That one's gonna need a 12-inch charge.
Yeah, so we'll roll the Overwatch and we'll roll the Overwatch off camera, see if anyone makes it a 9-inch charge. Nope, and a 12-inch charge. No, so the truck's going to live for at least a turn. However, these neophytes probably aren't. So we'll roll this up off camera if there's even any point in doing so. And then we'll come back and see what the score is at the end of the turn. We actually did the Overwatch here, and amazingly my twin autocannon got 3 out of 4 hits on Overwatch on the damaged Venom, and actually managed to destroy it, causing a mortal wound to the nearby units. Almost predictably, the neophyte squad here were wiped out. So, he's going to consolidate. The end of his turn, he started defending Objective 5. He hasn't scored Big Game Hunter, and he hasn't scored Kane's Wrath because no Eldari units were able to charge. No Craftword units, sorry. So, that means no points scored at the end of turn 5. So it's still 13 points to 7. However, he's probably going to get Defend 5 because I've got nothing that can get there.
Well, it really comes down to whether the game's going to end.
Yeah, so we'll see what objectives I can draw. I very much doubt I will be able to score any, regardless of what I draw. So we'll come on to you with turn 5 for the Genestealer Cults and my 6 models remaining on the board. My turn 5, I drew Blood and Guts, Advance, and Hold the Line. Not getting any of them, quite frankly. I could get... Not going to get Blood and Guts. I could get Advance if somehow this, in Doug's turn, if somehow this unit... oh no, it's the end of my turn. I was going to say if he kills off my truck, I could actually get it. Because it would be... I could move out of my deployment zone for a nice suicidal run, but I'll do my movement phase, which won't be much, my shooting phase, which will be even less, and hopefully if the game ends I will win the game. We will need to see. So I'll do my movement and see what happens. My turn 5, I'm leaving the truck where it is just so I can get some shooting because I'm hitting on 6s. I decided, you know what, we're just going to move these guys out and go for the cable lights because either the game ends on turn 5 and I win, or if the game goes on another turn, there's nowhere this unit can hide that Doug can't get to them with at least a couple of Venoms and slaughter me. So I may as well shoot up these cable lights and charge them to try and get Blood and Guts. Yeah, I think I may as well just go for it. If either the game ends and I win, or the game goes on and I get tabled and Doug wins. So we'll go on to the shooting phase. I'm hitting on 6s with the truck because I'm so damaged. So the only thing I can shoot at are the Cableite warriors because the venoms are -1 to hit.
These ones or these ones?
I'll fire at the Cablites on objective number 5. There. You're still going to score it, but it's a moral victory. So auto cannon, no hits. Stubber, 1 hit. Doesn't wound.
Doesn't wound. Strength 4, right?
No strength. Oh yeah, no, you're right. Strength 4. So 1 wound.
5 ups.
Nope.
6 ups.
6 ups. Yep. So I kill 1. Woo! Kill 1 Cablite. We'll do the shooting over here at the Cableite warriors. Let's see. I want to kill a unit in assault. Can I kill them off?
There's 5 of them. 5s and 6s.
5 of them. Let's. Yeah, I'll do the shooting off camera and see how many are left. In my shooting phase, the truck did absolutely nothing. However, the neophytes over here, I decided to change direction and shoot the mining laser into a venom, which unsurprisingly missed because I was hitting on a 6. And the grenade launcher, frag grenade, and the weapons into the rangers, actually managing to kill 3 of them after some pretty poor saves from Doug. So if I can charge in this unit and kill this 1 ranger, then I do score blood and guts. So let's see if I make the charge. I don't think I need much here. Doug was kind enough to remove his... Yeah. Right. Doug was kind enough to remove the casualties that were further away. So I'm not, I mean, an 8-inch charge, because as he said, the game either ends on this turn or it doesn't, one way or another. Either ends with a victory or a loss. We don't even need to play the next turn, I believe. So my charge is... That's cocked, thankfully, but I think that's enough anyway. Yeah, 7 inches. We'll move the unit in, do the combat, and maybe I can score blood and guts. So the ranger was killed by the neophytes, and I consolidated into the cover. So I do score blood and guts, taking me up to 14 points to 7. So doing really well. Doug started the game, so he has the honour of rolling.
Where's that dice with the 6?
The dice that always rolls a 6 is over here. The dice got so on a 1 or 2 I win. Oh! I do not believe that. So the game ends. The dice that always rolls a 6 let us down, or let Doug down. It worked wonderfully for me. So at the end of the game, with 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 models remaining, the Genestealer Cults have snatched victory from their very likely jaws of defeat in the next turn. So we'll show you a bit of overview of the battlefield, and then we will come back with some after battle thoughts. So as you can see, the Ynnari have supreme command of this board, with units pretty much holding every objective. Unfortunately, the tenacity of the Genestealer Cults has somehow managed to bring them through to victory. So at the end of the game, that is 14 points to 7 for the Genestealer Cult's victory. So, as you just saw in that game, a rather sneaky victory for the Genestealer Cults, which was quite befitting, actually. Unfortunately, it's only me for the after battle thoughts. The game went on a bit longer, so Doug had to run off. So I'm just going to quickly talk through some of the highlights and lowlights of the game. First of all, hope you enjoyed that. It was an absolute nail biter for me. Basically coming down to the final dice roll of the die. Had the game not ended on turn 5, I would have been tabled without a doubt. Doug had more than enough firepower left to take out, you know, 6, 7 neophyte hybrids and a Goliath truck on 2 wounds. So it would have been a tabling and a victory for Doug. I still would have been ahead in victory points, but it wouldn't have mattered. So in the end, great set of cards drawn for me. Again, good use of the new orders stratagem to discard cards that I couldn't potentially score and redraw one. So this is one to always bear in mind with Maelstrom of War. And again, just devoting my units to actually going and scoring the objectives, which is always a plus in Maelstrom as well. So overall, I think that the scenario definitely helped that make this a more interesting game. I think had there been any of the other Maelstrom missions, I probably would have struggled. Had I had to face the entire might of Doug's Ynnari army and him getting turn 1, I probably would have struggled. What also helped is because of the scenario conditions, I was able to use a lot more cult ambush than I would have been able to do in a normal game. For example, with the points, the way they worked out, I would only have been able to put 10-man Acolyte hybrid unit with their drills, 2 pure strain Genestealer units, 2 Primus, 1 of the Magus and the Patriarch in reserve. As it was, I was able to use the bulk of my army and use the cult ambush rules, so that helped a lot in my deployment. I think my cult ambush rules were about average. Unfortunately, pretty poor rolling on the Meticulous Uprising on the first turn for the Primus, but I managed to make the charge, which, you know, was a good bonus. And then rolling a 5 with the Patriarch and the Genestealers really helped. I actually thought on turn 1, Doug didn't do a whole lot of damage. He did get most of his army in, which meant he could do a lot of screening, which was very useful for him to block off my charges. We were discussing that as he was packing up, and I think had I got turn 1, I think it would have been a really quick game, because I would have, with a couple of good cult ambush rolls, I would have gone into his Shining Spears hard, and without them being buffed up, I probably would have wiped the unit, or at least did significantly more damage than I did, and been in a good position that he would have struggled to come back. So in some ways I'm glad the game went the way it did. He was able to bring in his units to screen, was able to kill one of my units, which was, you know, expected, to give him first blood and get a couple of objectives. My turn 1 hit back pretty hard. The shooting with the cult is basically non-existent. Between the negative to hit for having all the Venoms and the Rangers, my accuracy was just minimal, as well as the stratagem allowing them to get -1 to hit on the Shining Spears. That was just no good. So my shooting is generally pretty poor for this army. Combat is where it really speaks. My Genestealers, turn 1, they were able to take out the Guardians, which was nice, but not really worth the investment, in all honesty. I killed 1 unit of Guardians with a 200-point Genestealer unit, who were then pretty much slaughtered. The other unit of Genestealers were able to do some damage on the Shining Spears, certainly able to reduce their efficiency or their damage output. However, brilliant play of lightning fast reflexes by Doug meant that he was able to block a number of my attacks. I think I rolled about 10, 12 twos, which in that, and also able to essentially double the number of misses I would get, going from hitting on a 2+ to hitting on a 3+, and having them buffed, so getting a 3-up armor save against my Rending Claws, and Feel No Pain, essentially a 5-up Feel No Pain. He was able to block a lot of the damage, so I didn't do as much as I thought. I think in hindsight, I was expecting, I should have run the numbers, I was really expecting the Genestealers to wipe that unit. Unfortunately didn't. I think putting the Patriarch into them as well would probably have been a better decision. As it was, he fluffed his attacks against the Rangers, so I think even if he'd got a few wounds in, I think he does a flat 3 damage, or he does good damage anyway, so he probably would have killed off a few more of the Shining Spears, so I think that was probably the way to go. My objectives worked out quite well. As the game went on, the weaknesses of the cult became apparent. They can hit really hard when they arrive, but for a majority army with toughness 3 and a 5-up armor save, they will just absolutely melt to any enemy firepower coming back. So my Acolyte hybrids mostly failed their charges coming in from Cult Reserve or rolled too low on the Cult Ambush table to get in. If they don't get into combat and hit hard, they're basically dead. They are essentially have the durability of Guardsmen, which isn't great in an 11-point model for what's a toughness 3 5-up save. They will just melt, considering the amount of splinter fire, all the venoms, all the cableites in them that Doug could put out. There was never really in doubt. Along with Doom and Jinx, they were folding. The Neophyte hybrids generally do okay. I'm going to add a few more units. As it was, I was originally planning to take 3 10-man units in this army, but I just simply didn't have enough models. So I think I'm going to add a unit or 2 of them. I've got a few spare parts from my guard. I'll probably try and build a few mortar teams or las cannon teams to give me a bit more firepower to allow me to hide out of line of sight and still contribute. So yeah, really good game. Doug played it well, pretty much demolished the rest of my army with his high firepower and his blasters. There wasn't much I could do. Once my heavy hitters were dead, there wasn't a huge amount I could do, but luckily I was able to play the objectives and either hide units or kill off some units to do some real damage. One of the other things we did mention was I shouldn't have put the aberrants in the truck. I assumed with the scenario, had they started on the table, I could have moved up and done some damage. Had the Primus or the Patriarch brought them into the Shining Spears on turn 1, I imagine they would have been slaughtered. Although if I didn't get the psychic powers off, then maybe not, because the extra attacks would have helped. So maybe a combination. I figured the 1 Genestealer unit was enough. I probably should have put both in, to be honest, although Doug did a great job with the Rangers of blocking me, so I don't think one of the Genestealer units would have needed like a 12-inch charge, 12-inch charge, which they might have got actually, considering they did get an 11-inch charge. So I think putting both units in would have seriously crippled the Shining Spears, which would have helped me a lot because they were big damage dealers for the rest of the game, and a lot of his mobility was down to that. Surprised the managed to take out the Karn actually. The 4-up invuln save only hurts her, so him, it, demon. So I think I was surprised I was actually able to whittle it down with the firepower from Neophytes and a Sentinel. But the 2 damage does quite well on the Sentinels with the autocannons, so that worked rather well. Again, I think this is a prime example in Maelstrom of any. Don't get me wrong, the scenario helped a lot in this case, but any army in Maelstrom can actually have a shot. It's all about playing the objectives, getting the right cards, knowing when to discard them or when to hold on to them, using your stratagem to redraw cards you can't get. And I just happened to be in a good position, and Doug's cards, I wouldn't say let him down. He did draw some good ones. It was just the case of playing so that he couldn't grab the objectives from me. He did get very unlucky. He had, like, one of his turns had he been able to kill the Patriarch in the shooting phase, which statistically he should have done. I just made some great invulnerable saves on him. He would have been able to Soul Burst with the Shining Spears, move on to Objective 5, and charge and kill my Acolyte Hybrids to grab it. That would have given them mission critical objective for D3 because I currently held it. He probably could have secured it as well the following turn, and he could have that would have put him ahead in points. I think would have really closed the gap. So as it was, thanks again to Doug for a great game. A surprising win with the Genestealer Cults. It doesn't happen that often, certainly not now with the new FAQ, which we were pretty much able to ignore in this game due to the scenario. I'm not sure we played it right. I hope we did. That's the way we would assume to play it. And it was a good game, really good game overall, and a lot of fun to play, and quite a surprising result. So I think until the Genestealer Cults get their codex, they are going to struggle a lot because they simply don't have the rules. Their one advantage of Cult Ambush in turn 1 has basically gone. So I'm hoping they'll see a codex before the end of the year and we'll get some really tasty stratagems, because as it was, I had 14 command points here and essentially only 5 stratagems to spend them on. So I was doing a lot of rerolls for shooting attacks that were really doing no damage, and the Cult Ambush tables. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed that report. If you did, subscribe to the channel, and if you're a fan of these and written battle reports, check out the St Andrews Wargaming blog for some great written battle reports and hobby content.